Ikaw kasi ko naman nila. So, hello. Good afternoon sa inyong lahat. So, yun na nga. 2.0 ng freedom. Yes. So, freedom is the state of being free. Ayan. Freedom is the state of being free. Therefore, iba siya sa free will. Because free will is an expression of freedom. So, yun yung kung paano nating ma-express yung freedom na meron tayo ngayon. So, yung freedom, meron siyang two parts. Yung natural and yung social freedom. So, yung natural freedom is freedom that is bound by natural laws. We are naturally free as human beings. And sa social freedom, it is freedom within the society. It is bound by laws and regulations that are man-made. So, okay. So, yung natural freedom is refuted by two arguments known as God's omniscience and determinism. God's omniscience states that God knows everything. God is all-knowing. God's omniscience means God is all-knowing. Tanggalin natin itong mas. God's omniscience means God is all-knowing. God is all-knowing. So, He knows our past, present. Ayan. He knows our past, present, and future. So, ano bang point ng pagiging natural ng freedom natin? Ang point ng pagiging natural ng freedom natin kung alam naman ni God yung mangyayari sa atin. So, yun yung sinasabi ng God's omniscience. Anyways, it is answered by two arguments. The argument of St. Augustine and the argument of Boethius. So the argument of St. Augustine says that time, God is outside time. God is outside the past, the present, and the future. Therefore, speaking of time in relation to God is hindi siya pwede. So, incompatible yung time kay God. So, hindi mo siya pwede. Kasi, so, yung sa argument lang ni St. Augustine, sinasabi niya na God is outside time and space. So, hindi mo pwedeng i-argue na alam ni God yung past, present, and future because this time is irrelevant when talking about God. Okay? So, by Boethius says that God knows everything. God knows the flux of the causation. The flux of causation present in all our decisions that we make in life. So, yung God knows everything, sinasabi lang niya na since God knows everything, God knows every decision. Kunwari, you are deciding between A and B. And deciding between A and B can branch out to decisions such as C, D, E, F. Mga ganun. So, parang alam niya yung causations nung decisions na gagawin mo. Pero wala siyang influence doon. Kasi God gave us what? Free will. Ayun. So, ang sinasabi lang naman talaga dito na natural freedom is when we have free will. Sabi nga ni Boethius, when we have free will, as God has given to us, we are free. Okay. So, determinism states that everything is determined by natural law. Everything has a cause and effect. So, everything in this world is determined by causes and effects. Yun lang naman yun. Ang common argument dyan, what is thrown, false. Okay? What is thrown, the cause, false. The effect. Yes! Anyways, so, determinism then is answered by this argument that says natural law cannot predict free will. Kasi nga, free will is spontaneous. It has these decisions in us. They cannot be predicted by this natural law kasi nga lahat tayo iba-iba yung decisions, iba-iba yung naging outcome. So it becomes unpredictable by determinism. So all of these arguments, yung God's omniscience and determinism is emphasized and answered by libertarianism. Libertarianism is when free will becomes the expression of freedom. So yung free will natin expresses our freedom as a person, our natural freedom as a person. Libertarianism essentially rejects determinism. Kasi nga, it says that we are all free since we have free will. So, natural freedom then, is the capacity of the mind to act freely. Ayun. So, may additional notes ako dito. Additional notes kay Adam and Eve. So, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, nung kinreate sila ni God, have free will, but no discernment yet. Now, they have perfection before eating the fruit because they believe that everything has a reason. Now, nagkaroon na sila tuloy ng imperfection after eating the fruit because they had free will and discernment. So essentially, evil came from discernment. So, ayun. Yun lang naman additional notes ko doon. So, lipat tayo ngayon sa social freedom. So, in social freedom, the maximum social freedom is might makes right. Okay. Lipat natin siya dito. Asan na siya? Ayan. Might makes right. So, hindi lang niya ibig sabihin na yung isang superior power, siya na lang yung laging magdodominate sa isang society. Hindi laging ganun yung case. Kasi minsan, nag-iiba yung case when people exhibit revolution. Now, when people exhibit revolution, they have now the superior power in order to be able to overthrow the certain government. So they're exercising then the superior might that they can overthrow the leader. So, sa social freedom, okay, bakit kaya yung mga monarchies bumagsak? So, in social freedom, in monarchies, it was good in the ancient time because these people were uneducated. I-apply natin dito yung philosophy ni Plato about the philosopher king, and nagkakaroon siya ng harmony between the roles of the people there. So, merong philosopher king, merong soldiers, and merong peasants. So, yung mga yun, lahat sila, yung harmony, nag-i-exist sa society because they have these certain roles to play. And, ayun. So, this exhibition of absolute power of the philosopher king was because the people were uneducated. So, effective yung system of absolute power doon sa time na yun. So these monarchies fell because of a lack of fallen monarchies fell because people were now educated. So since people were educated, they felt like qualified na sila for ruling the society. So, nagkaroon tuloy ng power struggle. So, this power struggle is now the battle for authority. And they felt that they were qualified because people have natural superiority and they do not like to be forced by these societal powers that dominated. So, nagkaroon ngayon ng power struggle. So, these monarchies fell because they had an exhibition of absolute power, pero ayaw na yun ng mga people. So, okay. So, ngayon, nagkaroon siya ng social contract. that abolish that absolute power. So meron tayong two philosophers, namely si Jean-Jacques Rousseau tsaka si Thomas Hobbes. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Jean-Jacques Rousseau has a social contract. It is the argument between the state and the people. So, man is born free and everything is in chains. Yun yung sinasabi ni Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Because everything has limitations. Yun yung tinatawag na laws. So, these laws are limits to make people abide to the ideals of the government. Essentially, ito yung constitution. So, this social contract is then the limitations that we are bound to when we are born into this world. So naturally, we are born free, pero meron tayong limitations set by the government. Since the government is not a natural state, but a man-made state, diba? So since the human society is not a natural state, natural freedom does not apply. Natural freedom does not apply. So in the social contract, the government and the people must meet halfway, and there must be no assertion of an absolute power. So these nagkakaroon ng agreement to have certain constraints in order for all of the people to benefit. So ayun na nga. So let me explain like this way. Essentially, as human beings, when we are born into this world, we are free to kill. Because natural freedom states that we have the freedom and we have the right to express that freedom with free will. So we are free to kill. But social freedom states limits us to do that by the Constitution na bawal pumatay or Ten Commandments siguro na bawal pumatay. So yun lang. Yun lang naman yung sa natural and social freedom. So, violation of this agreement can cause to chaos. Okay? So, yun ang tinatawag natin na revolution. Revolution is outside the rules and the social contract of the government. And the government then can retaliate outside the social contract. Kunwari, yung sa martial law. Some people revolted because they thought that the martial law is not good. Ganun. Ayun nga, di na talaga good. So, these people revolted. And this revolt was outside the proposed social contract between the government and the people. So basically, the government retaliated outside the social contract. So nagkaroon ngayon ng violation of the social contract of the two sides. So sometimes the social contract is subconsciously broken when people submit their liberty to the monarch. And when they submit their liberty to the monarch, they surrender their freedom to consent to the contract. And when this monarchy asserts absolute power, the freedom is lost. So yung freedom na yun, when this freedom is lost, we become slaves to the government. Parang ganun. Okay, so Thomas Hobbes proposed the Leviathan. Yes? Proposed the Leviathan. So fear. And fear is needed when the state is in conflict. So paano yun? So fear is a significant theme in Thomas Hobbes' philosophy because of his experience in the Civil War. The Leviathan essentially is a monster. So, isa siyang Hebrew monster. Na... Sorry. Ang haba. Okay. Isa siyang Hebrew monster na... Hebrew sea monster. So, this Leviathan, essentially, is a monster that... makes us fear. So, sabi ni Thomas Hobbes that the laws and regulations and the social contract proposed by the government must make us fear the law. Their authority must make us fear the law in order to practice absolute power. And this was made by the social contract. So, Hobbes used the idea of the Commonwealth here. The Commonwealth is essentially the government. So, palitan natin yung term ko. Yung government, Commonwealth na siya ngayon. So, yung Commonwealth natin is ruled by a sovereign power. Yun yung ideal Commonwealth. An ideal Commonwealth is ruled by a sovereign power to protect the security of the Commonwealth. And this is an absolute authority to ensure a common defense. Okay? So this mimics this ideal Commonwealth, this ideal government must mimic the human body with the sovereign, the leader, as the head. So ano ba sinasabi ko dito? Basically, an ideal Commonwealth must be ruled by a leader that asserts absolute power para matakot sila. Ganun lang naman yun. To protect the security of the Commonwealth when the state is in conflict, in a state of conflict. So, yung state kasi natin as man, naturally, we want domination. So, man against man. So, it is innate in every being. So, this state is horrible. So, we wish to seek peace in this state. So, nagkaroon ngayon ng Leviathan. So, yung perpetual desire for power natin, this perpetual desire for power, sinasabi na nawawala siya kapag namatay na tayo. So, okay. So, yung kapag namatay na tayo, mawawala yung desire for power natin. Therefore, kapag natakot tayo sa kamatayan, doon na tayo nagsisik ng peace. Kasi matatakot tayo na mawala yung power natin. Kasi naturally, we want to dominate. We want to have power. Sorry. Anyways, so it's coming from the idea now of the Civil War. Kasi people were going against the law. And there's a need now for the Leviathan to instill fear in order for people to seek peace and not go against the law. So, paano kung masyado ng maraming fear? Okay? So, let's use the metaphor of panopticism. Panopticism now as a prisoner under complete surveillance. And this became the driving force to be good. Pero hindi nila gustong maging mabait kasi gusto nila. Kasi ginugusto nilang maging mabait kasi kailangan nila. Kasi nandun yung mga tao. Nanonood yung mga tao sa kanila. They do not want to be good. Rather, they have to be good. Kasi may nanonood. Therefore, too much fear results to not knowing the reason behind fear. Therefore, we revolt to find reason. So, nagkakaroon ngayon ng revolution. So, now fear is needed in conflict. Because social contract is damaged because of war. So, wala nang relevance yung social contract. So, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng absolute power. So, this absolute power is now given to the sovereign, which has to do what is deemed necessary in order to protect the government. So, yung power na yun, that can be transferred. Okay? So, there is no written text needed. It is only the power of the people through an election. So, yung combined powers na yun, when these are all combined, can make an absolute power, which is the sovereign. So now, transmission is essential in order for the Leviathan to have, to be established. So how do we establish the government? So, anyways, break. So how do we establish the government? So mayroong through institution, which is through an agreement. This is now the establishment of the Leviathan in order for us to raise yourself from the state of nature. Paano siya? So, institution is basically you being submitting yourself to a social contract in order for you to raise yourself up from your state of nature. Kapag nakapag-sign ka na, or when you adhere to a social contract, nagkakaroon ka na ngayon ng hindi ka na bound masyado ng natural law. Rather, sa social contract. So, your state of nature as a man is raised to become a citizen of that nation. So, through the government can be also established by force through acquisition. Ito na ngayon yung absolute power na tinatawag, which is which has the sovereign now takes the control, and meron na siya because the state is in the state of conflict. So since the state is in a state of conflict, the people are obliged to follow that absolute power. Ayun. So kung walang resistance, walang revolution sa absolute power na yun, let's say martial law, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng consent to control. Okay? So in the present day, when government implements force, nagkakaroon ng negative reaction kasi hindi naman kailangan. Kasi wala namang state of conflict. So kung mayroong state of conflict ngayon, let's say maraming bombahan, chuba-chuba, or maraming gulo sa society natin, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng adherence to tinatawag na absolute power. Or pwede na rin yung martial law na tinatawag. Yun na yung example lang yun. So, this is acquisition is part of the social contract to protect the society and secure peace. So, when sa society kasi, we have these certain limitations and we consent them through the social contract that we are in when we are born as a citizen of the Philippines. So, yun na yung constitution. So, when there is no agreement between the state and the people, nagkakaroon na yun ng chaos within the government. So, essentially, social freedom is freedom within the state. But it does not tackle freedom within the natural person. Rather, it has laws and regulations. It has laws and regulations to limit the people's natural freedom. And this exists because the society exists. So, merong iba't ibang social freedom sa iba't ibang society. So, ayun na. So, ayun. Tayo kasi, as people, we have innate na sa atin yung social belongingness, yung gusto natin mag-belong sa isang society. So, this is a huge role in social freedom because this constitutes the reality that we are part of a certain state. And this adherence to rules and regulations indicates that yun nga, we are part of a state. We are part of a society. So we have to express ourselves within the laws and limitations that are stipulated by our Constitution. So, primarily, this is taking away yung social contract. This takes away secondary consent because these things are yung secondary consent. Yun na yung hindi na tayo tatanungin ng government kung gusto ba natin yung isang bagay o hindi na nagko-concern sa national security natin kasi nga meron lang free decision of the officials and we surrender that consent to the officials. So kung ano yung i-decide ng officials natin for us, yun na yung decision. So it is yun nga, our secondary consent is stripped away from us when we enter into a social contract. So in essence, human freedom, we are all free. We are all free. Pero, human freedom is not constrained by law. Rather, it limits us to what we can do. Essentially, naturally, we are free. But we are socially limited to what we can do. Okay? Okay. Alright. Tapos na tayo.